हाय.
हॅलो शशिकांत जी, नमस्कार.
नमस्ते नमस्ते. कसे आहात?
मजेत मजेत.
गुड टू सी यू आफ्टर लॉंग.
येस, थँक्यू.
सो which city you are based in?
ठाणे.
ठाणे. ओके. आले बघा तुमचे
Yes,
बॅचमेट पण
yes.
आले, अपूर्वा देशमुख,
हो, आला का? ओके.
इन्शुरन्स वाले.
मी कुठे राहायला?
मी पुण्याला
Yes,
असतो.
ओके.
गुड. काय म्हणताय अपूर्व?
हॅलो अपूर्व, गुड इव्हनिंग.
तुझ्या आवाजाला
मी
काहीतरी झालंय.
स्क्रीन शेअर होईल ना माझ्याकडून? चेक करू.
एक मिनिट. मी परमिशन हे करतो. करा. हो, होतंय.
नमस्कार हलबर्गे साहेब.
नमस्कार सर. योगेशजी नमस्ते.
काय म्हणताय, कसं आहे तुमचं नॅनो टेक्नॉलॉजी?
बघूयात.
चेहऱ्यावर पण उतरली नॅनो टेक्नॉलॉजी, पार दाढी ऋषीच्या रूपात.
येस.
आहेत लोक जॉईन. अपूर्व आलाय पहिल्यांदा, अगदी पहिला नंबर लावलाय अपूर्व.
बॅचमेटचं असतच ना रे बाबा.
हो, अपूर्व म्हणजे तुमची बॅच. अपूर्व म्हणजे फार हुशार माणूस. ऐकतोय वाटतं अपूर्व, का नाही ऐकत ते?
तू दुर्लक्ष करतोय तुला.
बरोबर, हुशार लोकांचं लक्षण आहे ते.
हुशार म्हणजे खूपच हुशार आहे बाबा तो.
मुद्दाम ओळख दाखवणार नाही तो. हसतोय बघ, कसा गोड हसतोय एकदम.
क्रिकेट स्माइल असतं त्याचं. आता हसला बरोबर.
राईट. बिफिटिंग त्याला ओशन मिळालं ना. बिफिटिंग ओशन. चलो ग्रेट. एनिवे आपण म्हणजे एक बाकी एनिवे याचं सगळं तयारी तर झालेली आहे, जॉईनिंग वगैरे, म्हणजे सेशन करणं वगैरे. आपण 5-6 लोक आहोत, जस्ट टू डिस्कस 1 or 2 थिंग्स. म्हणजे किती लोक झालेत आता? आहे 8 लोक आलेत, म्हणजे बऱ्यापैकी येत आहेत लोक. गुड. 5:32 नेहमीप्रमाणे सेशन सुरू करूया. इंट्रोडक्शन द्यायच्या अगोदर मग ते विजय दिवसचं पण आपण बोलूया, म्हणजे कारगिल विजय दिवसचं. सगळ्यांना त्याच्या शुभेच्छा देऊया. आणि मग जरा मी सुरेशला सांगितलेलं की 40 to 45 मिनिट्स मध्ये आपल्याला म्हणजे कव्हर करायला टाइम मिळतो. 6 वाजून 5 मिनिटांनी तो सेशन ब्रेक होतो, त्याच्यानंतर क्वेश्चन आन्सर होऊ शकतात. तर सुरेश, यू आर कम्फर्टेबल ना? 40 ते 50.
येस, नो प्रॉब्लेम.
व्हेरी गुड. आणि काय तू तसा रेग्युलर स्पीच म्हणजे देणारा माणूस आहे, तर तुला
नाही, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
अपूर्व, तुझा आवाज येत नाही बिलकुल. बोलू का?
फोनवर बोल म्हणतोय.
फोनवर काय बोललो? कसं बोलणार फोनवर?
प्रायव्हेट बोलायचं.
हो का?
चॅटवर
बोलतोय का तू?
व्हॉट्सअप.
दुसरा कॉल चालू आहे का त्याचा? काही
काहीतरी लिहिले बाबा.
त्याला इंट्रोड्यूस करायला.
आय फॉरगॉट माय टॅबलेट इन ऑफिस.
ओके.
हुशार.
हे बरं, बोलायचं नाही असं आहे का? बिलकुलच. हो, आती त्याला काय फुटबॉल गोल पोस्टच वाटतं सगळीच गोष्ट. सगळ्यांनाच ब्लॉक करणे असला बघ. मंदार,
तुझ्या आवडता हाऊस कॅप्टन होता तो.
हो, काय सांगायचं आता. मंदार
बोल.
याचं तू हलबाणीचं इंट्रोडक्शन दे तू आज. ठीक आहे, मी 1 मिनिट फक्त पहिले बोलेल विजय दिवस बद्दल. त्याच्यानंतर मग तू सुरेश इंट्रोडक्शन करशील, चालेल ना?
हो चालेल.
ग्रेट.
बार्शी पार्टी काय म्हणताय?
बार्शी पार्टी मजेत आहे बाबा.
मजेत आहे ना? पाऊस पाणी वगैरे बरं आहे का तुमच्याकडे?
आमच्याकडं हो आता सरासरी गाठली आपली पुण्यात.
पुण्यात का?
पावसाने क्रॉस केली ना आता.
बार्शी पार्टीकडे नवीन कार आली आहे, त्याच्यामुळे नवीन पार्टी पाहिजे.
हो हो, ते देणार आहे ना, पण ते कसं आहे की तुमचं जर हे झालं तर काय त्याला म्हणतात, लॉकडाऊन
काय हे-
उठलं तर
हो,
हॉटेल
हो.
चालू
आणि
झाले.
ते पण आम्ही तळेगावलाच देणार आहे पार्टी.
कुठे ढाब्यावर का?
आईस्क्रीम खायचं का?
नाही,
हा तळेगाव डेपो
ऐक.
डेपो डेपो.
ऐकायला काही येत नाही बरं का रे, जरा व्यवस्थित बोल ना.
हा
काय म्हणलास तू?
ते काय कानात काय
अपूर्व सारखं कर, फोनवर लिहून पाठव अपूर्व सारखं.
हा, हा, हा.
89 चे सगळे हुशार आहेत बाबा.
मग आता
हे
सिनियर व्हायचं
मराठमधलं
म्हणजे
politics
थोडंफार हुशार व्हावंच लागते की नाही सिनियर व्हायचं म्हणजे.
बरं चला, शशिकांत 5:32 झालेत.
ठीक आहे.
बऱ्यापैकी जॉईन मी जस्ट स्टार्टअप हे करतो. एनिवे, सगळ्या अजिंक्यन्सला इथे वेलकम करतो मी. आज एक महत्वाचा पण दिवस आहे, कारगिल विजय दिवस. तर त्या निमित्ताने मी तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना शुभेच्छा हे करतो. आणि ज्यांनी कोणी आपला स्वतःचा जीव धोक्यात घालून म्हणा किंवा हे करून आपल्या एवढे यशस्वीपणे लढाई लढली आणि जिंकले, आपली देशाचा मान राखला, त्यांच्याबद्दल आपल्याला नेहमीच आत्मीयता राहील. जे आहेत आता त्यांच्याबद्दल आणि जे अनफॉर्च्युनेटली आपल्यामध्ये नाही आहेत, त्यांचा पण आपला ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, त्यांच्याबद्दल आपला ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट आहेच आहे. पण आज अनफॉर्च्युनेटली आपल्याला तो काही विषय हाताळता आला नाही. पण याच्यानंतर म्हणजे आपला 5:30 ते 7:30 सेशन झाल्यानंतर 6:30ला फेसबुकवर आपले निंबाळकर म्हणून एक ज्युनियर आहेत, हु वॉज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस कारगिल ऑपरेशन ऍज वेल. त्याचं पण इंटरॅक्टिव्ह म्हणजे इंटरॅक्टिव्ह म्हणण्यापेक्षा त्यांचं एक 12 लोकांचं एक तिथे लाईव्ह वेबिनार सेशन आहे. सगळ्यांनी तो जरूर अटेंड करावा, म्हणजे जेणेकरून आपल्याला त्याच्यातली बऱ्यापैकी फर्स्ट हँड इन्फॉर्मेशन पण मिळेल. म्हणजे बऱ्यापैकी माहिती आपल्याला आहेच, पण आपला पण एक अजिंक्य तिथे रिप्रेझेंट करतोय. तर विथ दॅट ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट आपण त्या सेशनला पण जॉईन व्हायचा प्रयत्न करूया. ओव्हर टू मंदार राजूरकर फॉर इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ हलबांडगे, आणि मग त्याच्यामुळे तो आपलं पुढचं सेशन सुरू करेल. ओव्हर टू मंदार प्लीज.
गुड इव्हनिंग ऑल. जसं आता योगेशने सांगितलं, सुरेश हलबांडगे आमचा बॅचमेट आहे 89 बॅचचा. आणि त्यांनी BSc फिजिक्स केल्यानंतर MAd केलेला आहे आणि कॉलेजला तो ठाण्याला प्रोफेसर म्हणून आहे. पण साईड बाय साईड मागच्या काही वर्षामध्ये तर त्याचा योगामध्ये आणि योगिक ऍक्टिव्हिटीज मध्ये जास्त इंटरेस्ट डेव्हलप झाला आणि त्यामध्ये त्यांनी स्वतः योगा करण्यापासून नंतर पुढे त्यामध्ये योगा आणि सायन्स, तो स्वतः सायन्सचा टीचर असल्यामुळे योगा आणि सायन्सचं कशी सांगड घालून आपल्याला त्याचं नॅनो लेवलला अंडरस्टँडिंग कसं करता येईल ह्या दृष्टीने त्यांनी त्याचा प्रवास चालू केलेला आहे सायंटिफिक अंडरस्टँडिंगचा. आणि त्या दृष्टीने त्याचं संशोधन पण चालू आहे. काही तो रिसर्च पेपर काही दिवसात सबमिट पण करेल किंवा प्रकाशित पण करेल. आणि त्याच कार्याला पुढे नेण्यासाठी म्हणून त्यांनी एक स्वतःचा ट्रस्ट पण स्थापन केलेला आहे, जीवन दृष्टी फाउंडेशन ठाण्यामध्ये. तर त्या ट्रस्ट मार्फत सुद्धा बऱ्याच शाळांमध्ये जाऊन तो योगा आणि सायन्स ह्याच्याशी काय रिलेटेड रिलेशन वगैरे आहे तर त्याचं जागरूकता किंवा जागृती करत असतो. इंट्रोडक्शन दोन मी सुरेश हलबांडगेला विनंती करतो की तू आता चालू कर. सुरेश. येस.
धन्यवाद मंदार. या कार्यक्रमाचे ऑर्गनायझिंग सेक्रेटरी योगेश देशपांडे सर, शशिकांत धनशेट्टे सर, मी मनापासून आपल्या सर्वांचं आभार व्यक्त करतो. आणि माझे सर्व अजिंक्य मित्र आणि ऑर्गनायझिंग कमिटी, प्लीज दुसऱ्याने ऑडिओ म्यूट करता का प्लीज, ऑडिओ अँड व्हिडिओ, सो दॅट देर वोंट बी इको. तर मी आपल्या सर्वांचे आभार व्यक्त करतो. So here, basically, I am not here to teach yoga. I wanted to just put yoga before you in the different way. आता रामदेव बाबाचा योग आपण जगामध्ये महान योग गुरु होऊन गेलेले आहेत. आपण सर्व सुज्ञ व्यक्ती आहोत. योग काय आहे आपल्याला सर्वांना डिटेलमध्ये माहिती आहेच. त्यामुळे मी काही ते योग शिकवण्यासाठी मी इथे नाहीये. दुसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे आपला योग माहिती नाही अशी पण गोष्ट नाही. पण मी आजच्या ह्या निमित्ताने एक योगाबद्दल एक सायंटिफिक व्ह्यू काय असला पाहिजे आणि आजच्या जगामध्ये योगाचं स्थान काय आहे आणि काय असलं पाहिजे ह्याबद्दल मी विशेष करून बोलणार आहे. सो हिअर we all are familiar with the traditional definition of yoga. Okay, so here yoga is mainly the joining of Atman to Paramatman, Jiv to Shiv. Okay, so that is a basic definition of the yoga or traditional definition. That is the highest aim of the yoga. But in our daily life, okay, whether we are in, let it be in any field, आर्म फोर्सेस मध्ये असू द्या, मेडिकल फील्ड मध्ये असू द्या, प्रोफेशनल टीचिंग फील्ड, irrespective of any field, we are into the yoga. We all are doing yoga. We may not be knowing that we are doing yoga, but we must understand that each and every one is a part of yoga. We are doing yoga 24/7. So here, what are the practical or day-to-day life definitions of the yoga? In the Bhagavad Gita, here two definitions are given. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Okay, so here equanimity in the action, right? मग त्यामध्ये समजा राग आहे, लोभ आहे, हा एक भाग झाला. जय, पराजय, राईट. भीती असते, प्रेम आहे, अवर्शन आहे, जे काही हे ड्युअलिटीज आहेत. सो रिमेनिंग बॅलन्स्ड irrespective of the situation which is going on in the environment. So keeping equanimity in every action, that is samatvam yoga uchyate. Now here we are in the different fields. Okay, when we are in the different fields, we need to perform our action efficiently. So the efficiency in the action, that is yoga. So yoga karma sukhaushalyam, that is yoga. So these are the practical definitions of the yoga we come across in the life. Now here, what is the relevance of the yoga? Why should we study yoga? Now here, yoga, we find that there is a research in each and every field of the life. Management असेल, armed forces असेल, teaching field असेल, business field असेल, प्रत्येक field मध्ये रिसर्च होतो. आणि रिसर्च करून त्याची रिलायबिलिटी, व्हॅलिडिटी टेस्ट केली जाते. आपण त्या अँगलने योग ह्या क्षेत्राकडे पाहिलं पाहिजे. योग इज अ इंडियन ट्रेझर. ओके, सो वी शुड व्ह्यू द योग इन दॅट अँगल. आपल्या योग म्हटल्याबद्दल आपल्या मनामध्ये वेगवेगळे फोबिया असतात. हे ऋषीमुनीचेच कार्य आहे, आपलं नाही, तरी जो भव्य कपडे घालतो तो योग करतो, अशातला काही भाग नाही. इट इज more scientific than the science present here today. So yoga should be learned in the taught in the scientific way. Okay, it should be learned in the scientific way. This is the one thing, and we must understand that yoga is an art and science of living. Okay, it is an art and science of the living, and yoga should go in hand with the scientific development and the technological development. So we should look at the yoga from the scientific perspective and see what are the possibilities available in that. Now here, in the today's competitive world, we need to have high achievement. There is a lot of competition. So we all are familiar with these are the parameters. Here, a spiritual quotient required is greater than SQ, EQ, IQ. I will not waste much of my time in this. And today's educational system, we know it lays more stress on the intelligent question. But we find that in the market, the emotional quotient or the social quotient required is more as compared to the intelligent question. Now, many times the companies take seminars for developing the skills of the persons in the company. At that time, they develop mentorship. They conduct management skills program. In fact, whatsoever the management skills programs are carried out, the core of all those programs is yoga technology, but they do not use the main word, which is the consciousness. So what is that consciousness? I will let you know within few slides. So, but the main core of any management skills or the technological development is yoga. So yoga is art and science of, it is art and science dealing with the mind. It is dealing with the regulation of the mind. It is controlling of the mind. And the moreover, the most important is yoga deals with going beyond the mind. This word, yoga, going beyond the mind, is very important. And when you develop the habit of going beyond the mind, then we have the wonderful results in our life. So what we understand is there is a basic difference between the science and the yogic science. Yogic science is an experiential science, whereas the day-to-day life science, it is an experimental science. So these are the two different aspects of the sciences. Yoga is experiential. It is very easy to talk on the science, yoga. It is very easy to deliver the pravachan, lectures, but to experiment it, it is very difficult and it is most important. So here, now what is important is there is a need of experimentation of the yoga for its reliability and validity to the society in the large. Many techniques are there, those are so beneficial and so powerful, but it has to be validated. We have to test the reliability, we have to test the validity, we have to keep the eyes and brain and mind open to understand the technology involved in the yoga. Now here, I'm trying to correlate between the mind and thought. So we know thought is output of mind, it is a form of energy, it has a tremendous energy. Now, according to one of the researchers, the number of thoughts per day is, these are the number of thoughts per day, right? Now, out of this, 80% of the thoughts are negative, 95% of the thoughts are repetitive thoughts. And here, what yoga says is mind is a collection of thoughts, and it is called a chitta vrittis. So here, what is the habit of the mind? Mind always thinks of past or future. Okay, we have the habit. The mind has the habit of thinking either in the past or the future. So that is the greatest problem of the mind. But now what the yoga does is yoga makes the mind to think in the present, and that is the beauty of the yoga. And we know it is a requirement each and every field to think in the present. Now again, we know according to the Freud, the personality development consists of 10% physical development and 90% mental development. And here the most important parameter that we need to understand is the effect of thought on brain. Okay, the effect of thought on the brain is the same, whether the action behind it is real or virtual. So this parameter is very much important as far as the yogic concepts are concerned. So here I'm trying to relate the mind energy and light energy. We know light is, आपण जेव्हा योगाच्या भाषेमध्ये बोलतो लाईट हे तत्व, इट इज अ रिप्रेझेंटेशन ऑफ सिम्बॉलायझेशन ऑफ दी सटल एनर्जी. सत तत्व म्हणतो जे इटर्नल truth is denoted. So here light, we know the speed of the light. So here we find that the speed of, this is the speed of the light. We can say same is the speed of the mind, or it is more than the speed of the light. So light has infinite direction. Similarly, mind has the infinite direction of the thinking. But if you focus the light in the particular direction, it is highly coherent and most powerful. So this concept of light and this concept of the mind energy can be used for development in the life, for peace in the life. So here we have talked, we all are familiar with the attitudes of mind. Positive attitudes leads to success. Neutral attitude, life is, what is the benefit of the neutral attitude? Chalti ka naam gaadi. Okay, that is a neutral attitude. What are the negative attitudes or second attitudes? It leads to failure in the life. Okay, so it gives rise to large number of psychosomatic diseases. So the negative attitude drains your life 24/7. So this is the most dangerous aspect of our life. Now here we need to understand what is the difference between the concept of body, mind and consciousness from the Western philosophy point of view and Indian philosophy. I can say Western philosophy or the psychology. According to the Western philosophy, they say it consists of mainly two parts. One is a body and another is a mind. So body is matter, mind is not a matter. They say mind is functioning of brain cells. Now, if you look at the Indian philosophy, they have very, very deep thought regarding the body, mind, and consciousness. Now, they say the gross body is consisting of 5 tattvas, Prithvi, Tej, Vayu, Akash, we all are familiar, and subtle body, Shukshma Sharir जे म्हणतो, सूक्ष्म शरीरामध्ये हे 3 महत्वाचे पार्ट आहेत, 5 कर्मेंद्रिय, 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय, तन्मात्रा, आणि 4 अंतकर्म. Now, we need to have the focus on these things. Okay. Now, when we say, suppose we have the ears, now we'll come to the Gyanendriya. In the Sanskrit or Indian philosophy, the ear is called as Shotra, skin is called as Tva, Chakshu, Jiva, Gran. But when we learn according to the Western philosophy, they call Shotra as ear. But we must know ear is not a Shotra, skin is not Tva, Chakshu is not eyes. Similarly, the same situation is there. Now, for example, suppose we take a person. He has the eyes, but he cannot see. So that organ is there, though the organs are present, but he cannot see. So what is the power behind it, which is making it to see? Similarly, we have the skin. Okay. So here, suppose a person undergoes paralysis. So he has the skin, he has the hands, he has the organs, but he has no control over this. It means when he is having the organ, okay, the power behind the organ, that pranic energy is not being manifested. So here, these are the wordings which shows there is some energy, some vital energy, some consciousness behind it, which is making the physical organs to function. And this Western philosophy do not take care of these concepts. They do not believe in this concept. There is a reason behind that also. What is the reason? The Western philosophy or the psychology demands the scientific evidence. Okay, there are mainly two things. One is physics. And so physics is a science. Mental physics is also a science. So where the physics ends, the mental physics starts. Now, it is a duty of we literate people to collaborate the spiritual science with the experimental science, the modern day science. So whatsoever the scientific developments are going on, it is purely on the basis of the science. So here, it should go hand in hand. Now, so for that, it should go. So here, we need to understand that the science, yogic science, and the modern science, it should go hand in hand. Now, there is a one difference between the science technology and yogic technology. The science technology moves from nano to macro. म्हणजे तिथे कशाचा विचार होतो, समजा ॲटम, ॲटम्स नंतर सबस्टन्स, atoms nantar large number of atoms, molecules, and so on. So it starts from the cell to the tissues to the organ to the system and the body. But so it is moving from nano to macro. But as far as the yoga, this is a technology which is moving in the reverse order. It starts from the body. Okay, it starts from the body. It goes to the organ system, then organs to the tissues, then from tissues to the cell. And it talks of what is behind the cell. Okay, so both are the sciences, but this is a spiritual science. We have to validate. Nowadays, lot of research is going on in the world, and they are trying to reduce the bridge between the yogic science and the technological science. With the help of this physics science, it is trying to bridge the gap. It is trying to reduce the gap between the mental physics and the physics. So we can say science is a evolution, yoga is a involution. It's a reverse process. So science is a reductionist process, whereas yoga is a holism process. Okay. Now, so here, one thing is very important. There is a concept of personality development in the Aitareya Upanishad. There are different Upanishads in our Indian traditional system. We all are familiar. So there is a Panchakosh theory of the personality development, and this theory says that the body is at 5 different levels. Okay, the body is at 5 different levels, and those are called Annamay, Pranamay, Manomay, Vijnanmay, Anandamay. So these are the, we can say, 5 different koshas. These are highly correlated. Annamay kosh, whatever the Annamay kosh is there, we can visualize this. It is a perceptible. But the other koshas, the other sheets of the body, these are not perceptible to the human senses. So there is a pranamay kosh, manomay kosh. Now, suppose some disease manifests at the physical level. There is a psychosomatic disease. The root of that disease is at a manomay kosh. Then it moves into the pranamay kosh, and then it manifests at the physical level. So here there is a highly interconnection between these koshas. There is a perfect harmony between the koshas. They are interlinked. Okay, so here one is subset of the other, but we find that the superset is Anandamay Kosh. So Anandamay Kosh, it is a consciousness. We can say it is a universal pran. Okay, whatever the Chaitanya is present in the individual, same Chaitanya is present in the universe. Pindi te Brahmandi. Okay, so from the Pinda to the Brahmand, whatever the energy is there, that Chaitanya is there, that is universally present. So this is what yogic science says. Now here, if the prana, which is present in our body, suppose there is not proper manifesting in certain part of the body, then that part of the body is getting diseased. It is no more ease. It is no more at ease. We say it is a disease. So here we need to take care that prana is circulating totally in the body. So what is the characteristics of the prana? The characteristics of the prana is it gives utsaha. काही काही असे शब्द आहेत इंडियन ट्रेडिशन मध्ये आपले काही जे संस्कृतचे शब्द आहेत. There is no exact word in the Western dictionary. So utsaha, ananda, chaitanya. So these are the characteristics of the prana. As we say, suppose there is a sugar, say, we cannot separate sweetness from the sugar. So that is the characteristics of the sugar. Because we cannot separate the characteristics of the substance from that substance. So similarly, what are the characteristics of the prana? Utsaha, ananda, and chaitanya. So these are the characteristics. Okay. And we find that our body is made up of, whether you take all the 4 parts, these 4 parts of our body consist of, each part consists of 3 gun, sattva, raja, tamas. Now this sattva is the principle of illumination. Okay, it is a principle of illumination, purity, peaceful, creative mind, optimism, creativity. So those are the characteristics of sattva gun. Rajas, it is a principle of action. It is a pleasure principle, anger, hatred, ambition. These are the characteristics of those. Tamas is the principle of inertia, inactiveness, dullness, drowsiness, confusion, pessimistic attitude. So these are the characteristics of these things. And all these 4 koshas possesses these characteristics. Now, what we have to do is we have to balance it, and we have to move towards sattva tattva. So we have to have the dominance of sattva in our all the 4 levels, that is at physical level, pranic level, mental level, and intellectual level. So here, now what happens is, we say here we have the concept what is called as thought. So here the most important thing is the thinking. Okay, the thinking is the most important part. We have to be always very optimistic. So the thought creates the energy. Okay, whatever the thinking is there, that thought creates the energy, and that energy created, it is always in the form of vibration, and that vibration has the frequency. Okay, so here there is a thought energy. Thought energy is in the form of the vibrations. That vibrations has the frequency. So when we think, so there will be a biochemical process taking into our body, and because of that biomechanism, biochemical process, biophotons are emitted. When the biophotons are emitted, because of the biophotons emitted, the electromagnetic field is produced, and that electromagnetic field can be observed with the help of the instrument called as biofield scanning. Okay, now the techniques are developed. Initially it was called as Kirlian photography. आपण जे आपलं बॉडीचा आवरा म्हणतो, आपल्या शरीराभोवती अवतीभोवती आभामंडळ असतं किंवा त्याला आपण आवरा म्हणतो. More scientific word is a biofield scanning. It is a biofield. So here nowadays we can see the aura of that by the instrument called as polycontrast interference photography, PIP. So here I'll just show. So here we have the electromagnetic spectra. I need to explain because see, so vibration, it is in the form of wave. Now this is the called as wavelength. This is called as the amplitude of the wave, right? The number of waves produced. Now these waves are produced, number of waves produced in 1 second, that is called as frequency. So we need to remember the term frequency, amplitude. Okay, I'm going to take these things in the scientific manner. So we need to know this. So here the energy is given, energy will be is equal to h nu. So nu is the frequency. So here the different bodies emit different waves, biofield. So cell, when the bodies in the cell are there, they are emitting this frequency. Our body, the subtle body, emits these frequencies. Okay, and we know the energy can be converted into mass, mass can be converted into energy. We all are familiar with this. I'll move ahead. So here when the photographs are taken, so here there was a student, बंडखोर वृत्तीचा विद्यार्थी. It means very talented student, but he is always disturbed. बंडखोर म्हणजे तो अशांत होता, म्हणजे एकदम खोडकर वृत्तीचा. And when the biofield scanning was taken, this was the picture observed. And the Reiki healing process, the deliberate bombarding of the pranic energy, we know Reiki, pranic healing is there. Now when the Reiki was given, this biofield scanning, it showed changes in the system. So what we observe is, if the subtle energy, if you can change the subtle energy pattern, the pranic energy in our body, then it can be observed into our body. So here, according to the science, okay, now it is observed that there are different chakras in the body. There are different nadis, 72,000 nadis are there. And these chakras, different chakras in the body, are related to the endocrine glands in the body. Okay, so we just need to remember, and we can manifest the prana in the different cells or different tissues of the body with the help of the yogic techniques. Now, so here the frequency of the pranic energy can be altered with the help of the, so brain waves emit the frequencies. Okay, we can alter those frequencies emitted by the brain waves with the help of the yogic techniques. Now here, what is the problem? When we have the negative thoughts, because of the negative thoughts, we have what are called as a distraction. Okay, diseases, mental laziness, doubt, carelessness, laziness, attachment, instability, pessimism. Okay, so these are the distractions in the mind. These distractions in the mind can be overcome by yogic practices. So we can replace sickness by fitness, doubt in the mind by trust, carelessness by the carefulness, okay, laziness by liveliness, attachment to the detachment. In this way, we can have the paradigm shift from disharmony to the harmony. Okay, now here, so in the yoga technology, we need to have the visualization at 4 different levels. So the thought process should be at the, so here, when we have to work at these 4 different levels: physical level, mental, intellectual, and spiritual. And these are the efforts, and success depends upon this. Now, what we need to remember, we have to imbibe the positive thoughts, we create the positive thoughts, feel the emotions, visualize the emotions, and then it will come to the action. And when we have the such a thinking process, जेव्हा आपण मनावरती असे संस्कार करतो, that sanskaras have the effect at DNA level. Okay, now it is found these sanskaras have the effect at DNA level, and that is called the branch of the biology which deals with it is called as epigenetics. So here these thoughts can modify the genes expression. We can change the expressions of the gene. We cannot change the coding of the genes, but the expressions of the genes can be changed because of the thought process. It is very important. Then I need not talk about what are the differences between the Kapalbhati and Pranayam. There are some techniques in the body. Some technique stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. Some technique stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So there are certain techniques which are used for cleansing. Some techniques are used for soothing process and so on. Some techniques are used for stimulation. Some techniques are used for relaxation. So various techniques as per our choice, as per our behavior, as per our liking, we can take the benefit out of the yoga. Now here, the most, I'm going to talk about mainly 2 to 3 techniques which all can adopt irrespective of any situation. Now suppose we are young and we can perform rigorous exercise and we don't have more time, but we have very less time. Maximum benefits out of that. Then the best I tell you my friends, the best tool is Surya Namaskar. One Surya Namaskar consists of 12 sets of asanas. These are the dynamic asanas. Okay, and it is a combination of asana, pranayam, and the mantra chanting. So here it is a highly technical phenomena, highly technological, highly effective. This is an experiential science. So here yogi is dealing with the awareness of the mind. So our thought process, if we are not aware of the thoughts, then it is not a yoga. The awareness of the thought is a yoga. That is the basis of the yoga. So here the Surya Namaskar is one of the excellent techniques. Then now when we perform the Surya Namaskar, before going to the Surya Namaskar, we should have the loosening exercises, and after Surya Namaskar we should have the relaxation exercises, mainly Shavasana. Then now basically we all do say Omkar. Okay, we all do mantra chanting. Many of us may feel, now I'm coming to the end of my talk. We sit at a place, we chant mantra, we do Omkar, we do Pranayam. If it is just done physically without awareness, it will be a just exercise and it will have least effect. So when these things are performed as a exercise, आपण जप करतो, ओमकार करतो, प्राणायाम करतो, जर एक फिजिकल ऍक्टिव्हिटी म्हणून जर केली तर त्याचा लीस्ट इफेक्ट. पण when we do all these activities with the awareness, with that consciousness, dealing with the prana, the awareness of the prana in the body. So here in our, now there is a Yes Vyasa University at the Bangalore. The dean, that founder and the chancellor of that university is the ex scientist of the NASA, Dr. H. Nagendra. He was basically NASA scientist Now he has developed the Yoga University. It is at Bangalore. It is about 40 acres of the land.